Remember the yard we did the how to edge a yard with an edger? I put that video up like 2 or 3 days ago. They went over my edge with a weed eater. Looks like poop. Look how uneven it is. Look how terrible that is. I had it nice right here, and then they came over it today with the weed eater and effed it all up. Pure shit. That's why I edge with an edger and not with the weed eater. Because as bad as this yard was, they couldn't clean the crack out with the weed eater. They just gave up and didn't give a shit. And then they angled the crap out of it and burned the hell out of it. Man. That's why I use an edger. It just comes out better. Argue with me if you want. I've been doing this for a really long time. Edger just comes out better. A little bit more work perhaps, but it just comes out better. How to trim shrubs with a gas-powered hedge trimmer. Today we're going to use the Echo HC152. Echo HC Hedge Clipper 152. Alright, this is like I think a 20cc engine. I'm not exactly sure, but this isn't about the hedge trimmer itself. But this is a tool that we're going to use in a world of many different tools. Let me show you what else we got. This is a pole hedge trimmer, an extension hedge trimmer, a HL100K steel adjustable head hedge trimmer, shrub trimmer, bush cutter, whatever you want to call it. And what it does is it adjusts. You see right here? Push this down, it unlocks it. See where it unlocks it right here? And then you can adjust your hedge trimmer. And what that's for, and I'll show you. If you're doing high bushes, you can trim up high. See how high? You can trim up high. If you're doing low bushes, you can trim down low. Alright? Without bending over and stuff. So this is also available, hedge trimmers like this are also available in the cheap shit models that you can buy at Home Depot and Lowe's. They have adjustable ones, they have attachments that have adjustable ones, similar to this. This, like I said, is the steel. This is like 500 and something bucks for this hedge trimmer. It's really badass. They also make them extended where the shaft here is longer for even more reach. It's really a good tool. But we're going to use this, the Echo regular hand hedge trimmer, regular handheld type hedge trimmer, okay? And the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about these hedge trimmers is this right here. When you're purchasing hedge trimmers, you need to look for, there's silicone grease, white lithium, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's certain things you want to look for, knowing the bushes that you're trimming. This is a 1-inch opening right here, okay? If you get the cheap shit off the shelf at Home Depot and Lowe's, this might be 3/8. This might be 1/2 inch. This might be 3/4 inch. There's going to be limitations as to what you can cut with these size, with the opening right here, alright? Those really cheap shit ones, like 3/8 branch is all you're going to be able to go through. Small stuff. These here can go through like 3/4 inch thick, and even thicker if you know how to do it. And that's something I'm not going to teach you, but that's something you learn on your own. Branches. So you could trim some pretty thick branches with this. If you pick yourself up this Echo style, I got this at Home Depot, but if you got a Echo dealer by you, if you pick this up for about 180 bucks to 230 bucks, somewhere around there, you can't go wrong. This is an all-around good hedge trimmer. You could do good size with it. It's fairly light. I think it's like 5 pounds maybe, 4 or 5 pounds. It's fairly lightweight. It's 2-stroke, and you put your mix right here. This is not a review of this machine. I'm just letting you know, if you're starting your side hustle out and you've got to trim some bushes, this is one of the first things you need to do is get yourself a hedge trimmer. You can get the cheap shit off the shelf to get you started, but for maybe $50 more, you can get something a little bit more pro. That's what I would recommend to you guys to get you guys started. So I don't want to start you off on the wrong foot. You can go a little skimpy on a weed eater, you can go a little skimpy on an edger, but if you go skimpy on a hedge trimmer, it's going to really limit you, really limit you. So if you can go a little bit more money on this, it's going to save you in the end a lot. You can do much more stuff, and these things last a lifetime. And that's the next thing I want to talk to you guys about in this how-to video, is how to maintain your hedge trimmer. And what I want to say to you guys is, know your limits, okay? I did a video a long time ago. I'll try to link to it right here. And I took my steel adjustable hedge trimmer apart, took the head apart, took the blades apart, sharpened the blades, put it all back together. We did it on video. We did it together. We learned how to do it together. And it's been working great ever since. But it was hard to do because I never did it before. And so I learned a lesson, and I said, you know what? My limit is that. I hit my limit right there. These things are way too valuable, and they're way too costly to F up because you're being a little bit chintzy. And I didn't want to be chintzy. So I actually took this hedge trimmer to the lawnmower shop. No, not Andy's. I took it to All Seasons in Richmond Hill. That's another lawn shop. It's a great lawn shop, and that's where I bought my Gravely from. And I had them sharpen, adjust, and lubricate the whole bar and the gear in here. Alright? I have not used it yet since they did that. So I hope we get through this video and nothing blows up. But you have these bolts right here and this bolt head. And these have to be a certain tightness, and there's a little spacer, a little washer in here. Alright? If you over tighten these, the bar will heat up, the bar will lock up on you. If you under tighten them, there'll be too much space between the teeth, and it'll be like loose scissors trying to cut paper, and instead of the branch cutting, it'll bend the branch and then it'll tear. You don't want to do that. If you start seeing that happening, if you start tearing your cuttings or your clippings, if they're tearing rather than cutting, then you need to adjust. Come on, Peter. You need to adjust and sharpen your blade. And that was my limit. Be right back. Good girl. Sorry about the interruption. So knowing your limitation, I knew my limitation. I called up the shop. I said, hey man, I got this Echo hedge trimmer from the shop, from Home Depot. I need you guys to sharpen, lubricate, and adjust the blades. How much? He says like 30 bucks. I was like, word. I dropped it off to him. A week and a half later, he called me up and said it was ready to go. If I was in a rush, I might have tried to do it myself, but I wasn't in a rush. I have the other hedge trimmer set. So make sure you guys plan accordingly for that, okay? How often should you sharpen your blades? When you see the branches are starting to tear, if you got some looseness in here, it's time. I'm sure there's how-to videos on YouTube that will show you how to sharpen and adjust these. I did it on the other one, and I did a video showing you. I'll link to it, like I said. If you're not mechanically inclined, though, be very, very careful. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So those are two major points I want to make first and foremost on this little how-to video: how to trim bushes with a hedge trimmer. It's know your limits on maintenance on these things and purchasing them. Purchase a good one. It doesn't have to be the best, but make sure it's good. Because you will be upset if you get the cheap shit off the shelf with their tiny little bars. Okay? So that's the biggest thing. Now, let's take a look at some bushes. We'll use my house for an example, because I got a bunch of crazy stuff going on. And my neighbors out there on and off, on and off, on and off. Alright, using my house. There's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. I want to make like a castle-like little thing here, okay? So it's starting to fill in nice. That's about the height I want. And then you come down, you go across, you go up, okay, little castle. Right here, you see, we're just doing a little hedgerow there. And then right here, we got 3 individual bushes. We're just kind of flat and round, flat and round. That's really it. And then that's kind of more square. And then way over there, we got kind of squared off little bushes right there, okay? We got that. That's a bunch of different stuff going on in one yard, okay? And then we got my neighbor here, which you guys have watched me do these bushes. These are your round shaped ones, okay? Nice, tight. She likes these nice and tight and shaped up really nice, And then you got the little bottle brush looking bushes right here. We got to get those kind of squared away. Okay, so I just showed you a few different types of bushes, hedges, different shapes, things like that. And the very first thing that I'm going to say to every single person that's starting their side hustle and that's getting into lawn service and needs to trim bushes, the very first thing you got to do, ask the customer what they want. You have to ask the customer when you're giving them a price quote for their yard. You got to say, or if you're doing your own yard, you got to go to your wife, your husband, your mom, whoever you're living with, and you got to say, hey, what were you thinking? Here's what I'm thinking. But your customer is the most important. You got to know what they want. I know she wants her bushes round, and I know this customer, me, wants to do that little castle thing and do those individual things. But what about the lady across the street? What do they want? So when you're giving your price quote, look at the bushes and say, you want me to include the bushes like every other cut, like once a month? I'll be here every 2 weeks, or maybe you do it once a week, maybe every other cut, so every 2 weeks, maybe twice a month you do the bush. Whatever your quote is, you got to say to them, how often do you want me to do them, and what do you want? You want me to just kind of follow the shape that you kind of have going here? Do you want something else going on? What do you want? Get that out front, because you need to know, do they want you to hack that shit down? Is it covering a window? How long has it been since they've been done? Get all that information in advance, and if you have to charge accordingly, a little extra money, say, oh, okay, that's going to be a little extra because that's a lot of cleanup. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of trimming. You know, you're taking a foot of wood off of a bush, then you need to charge for that because that's going to take up some space or some extra mulching. If you're mulching, you know, that's some pretty serious stuff there. So make sure you know that's the very first thing you have to ask your customer. What are we going to do with these bushes? How do you want them? How often can I do them? And then you figure out your price when you give your quote. You add in an extra 10 bucks a cut for, you know, $20 to trim the bushes real quick or something. Maybe you do the bushes quarterly for 100 bucks. That's between you and your market and your customer. I'm not going to tell you that. But the very most important thing is they tell you what they want. They tell you how they want it to look. So you know what to expect. If they say, oh, I don't care, just keep me out of trouble with the HOA, or I just don't want it blocking the windows, or I don't know, what do you think? That's where you get to be your artist. I can't teach you how to be an artist. Nobody can teach you how to be an artist. Your customer can tell you what they want, or you got to use your imagination. And when you use your imagination, you can F crap up fast. Because what you think looks good, your customer now is going to go, what the hell did you do? So you need to talk it over, and they say, oh, I don't really know. What do you think? You just do whatever you want. You tell the customer what you're going to do. Say, okay, well, this bush here, I'll put a little round to it. This one's a little bit tall. It's kind of blocking you in. You want me to take it down a little bit, and we'll just keep it at that height? Okay. All right, great. And then over here, you got this little hedgerow. We'll just follow along with that. And then over here, where you have it like individual bushes, can we let those kind of fill into a hedgerow, and we'll just kind of make it where you have a little border, and then just in front of that, we could do like annual flowers, like impatiens and stuff like that in the winter, and we could do like marigolds and caladiums in the summer, you know. And they'll be like, oh wow, that's awesome, and you just saved yourself some work, because why would you want to in space and make squares if you can make a little hedgerow? It's a lot simpler. So use your imagination. You get to be the artist. You get to kind of draw it out in your mind, show it to the customer, get them to commit. When they say, yeah, that's good, I like that, then that's what you do. You price it accordingly, and that's what you do. Okay? So once you're done with the 3 biggest things, pick your tool, know your maintenance, have it planned out, who's going to do it, when you're going to drop it off, or if you're going to do it yourself, and talk to the customer or your wife and make sure that what you're about to do is what they want done. Okay? Those 3 things, most important. After that, it's just a matter of getting out there and do it. You guys have seen me trim bushes before. You've seen me use the adjustable steel. You haven't really seen me use this. So today we're going to do a video with this. Here's some things I want you guys to watch. I try to limit my back. I try to do more work when I'm siding with my arms. Your arms will get a workout. So you're moving along, you're on the gas, and you're going up, down, up, down. You don't want to be using your back too much. Okay? Try to use your arms, swing it. Your hip up here is your rotator, and then right here is your guide. this aims you nice and straight. Blade should be nice and straight, not like this, not like this. You should be nice and straight, siding up those bushes. Okay, and then when you get to the top, you hold that nice and firm, and you go across, come back, go across, come back. If you're rounding stuff off, here's what I do. Whenever I'm doing like round shapes and things like that, what I usually try to do is the tops first. I try to get that top all done. I might even do all of the tops. And then I'll go back, lock myself in, and walk around that little booger to save my back. If not, then you just kind of go with it. Alright? Be very careful, be very safe. These are moving, and anything that gets in there is gone. You come down and you hit your leg, you're done. You're in trouble. You're going home fast. Alright? Be really careful. All your work is in your wrist and in your arms. It's all arm strength. You will get tired, but you will get used to it. Do your trimming, do your tops, get it all done, and make that money. What I'm going to do, I cannot teach you how to be an artist. I can't teach you how to paint. I can only point you to the paint. So those are the three most important things. Now what I'm going to do is set the camera up. Just watch me work. Watch me do these bushes. Watch my momentum. Watch my motion. Watch how I work. That's what you want to do. I've been doing this a very, very long time. I don't hurt myself. I've learned to not hurt myself. Okay? I'm not going to say that I'm the best, but this is how I do it. Did you guys notice I switched hands? Ambidextrous. If you can learn how to do it this way and this way, it'll save you a lot of footwork later. Let me show you guys something. Whenever possible, keep the bushes away from the house. Customers like that, especially painted homes, or you'll scratch the hell out of the paint when you do go to cut it. So keep that trimmed up nice. That's just a simple little trim. This one we want to grow up to match that one, so we're just going to shape the bottom a little bit and then we'll move on to in there. My back staying still, my arms do all the work. As you get up there in age, you'll learn real quick. Hedge trimming, throw your back out, look back. be in too much of a rush. You know what I mean? Take your time. Make sure you get it all trimmed nice. It's not taking me any time to do this. But they look pretty good. This one right here, we're letting the top grow up. But I mean, that looks pretty good. We got different shapes right here. This one's a little bit taller, that one's a little bit smaller. Then we go up even higher. Nice little hedgerow. Plenty of space between the bushes and the windows. You don't want people hiding here. Think about that when you're working on your customers' yards. Tell them that. Hey, you want me to make some space so when you come out at night, nobody's hiding in your bushes? You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and hit this. This here, we're just going to side it, and we're going to cut the middle a little bit behind it and do the sides over there. Take some time. Sometimes you got to get behind the bushes, between the bushes and the house, and you can't get back there. Just because you can't get back there doesn't mean you don't try. Do what you can. So as we step back, you see the castle now is starting to form up pretty nice. Now we got some shapes to do. Shaping is different in the sense that you have to follow the pattern that's already there. The artist in you kind of goes away. Now you're just kind of making it like you did the week before or whatever. So we're just going to go ahead, we're going to take this down some, and we're going to get it cleaned up nice. Watch how little I move and watch how much my arms move. this up your bar. Don't go all the way down. Keep it up about 2 inches off the ground. Now that I sided it, but I avoided the ground, now you trim the ground without bouncing the blades off the ground. See that angle? See how I'm at an angle? Not too shabby, huh? I see a spot I missed. Needs to get a little bit taller. A little bit. Now there's one more thing you can do too down here. I always do the bushes first because I can always go back with the weed eater later to grind the weeds and to pull the clippings out. I did a video called directional weed eating or something like that. I'll put a link to that right here. In the meantime though, you can take your weed eater, and if you flip your weed eater over like edging, you can edge the bush right down to the ground if you need to not beat the bar up on the ground. You start beating that bar up, you break your gears, especially if you got cheap shit. So you gotta be careful. I hate half-assing it, but it needs to fill in. So what are you gonna do? We'll skip that and we'll get to these 4. Let me show you how I handle these 4. I'll do all the tops first, then I'll run my circles. dummy trim. Now I'm going to eyeball them and try to make them look good. They think I'm crazy. They're like, who's he talking to? Take this one down some. over. And I went down on this bush. I went down on the bush. Crank it, quiet. Now in the back, I'm just going to loop it. Just a little loop, because I already did the front and sides. Alright, at this point here, pretty much you just step back, kind of eyeball it. Make sure you got your shapes and your heights relatively right. It's going to look good before I leave, and it's going to look really good from my front door. Now we just got to put a straight edge on the top of these bottle brushes here. Make sure they're not touching the house, and then put a little shape right there. Let me get my weed eater, let me clean these weeds up, let me blow this out, and let's take a final look. Alright, let me show you what I'm talking about with the weed eater. You can clean up the bottom of the bush and the weeds and the rock beds and stuff like that. And I'm going to use what's called directional weed eating, where I'm going to use this part of my weed eater line, this part right here, like the 10 o'clock position, and as it comes around, as it hooks the leaves and stuff, it's going to pull the product out. Get the leaves, get the twigs, get the clippings out of the bed. Cleans the bed up for you. So watch this. On an angle, you can clean up the bush too. You see what I'm kind of doing there? And I'm hooking it and having it come out. Very low power. You don't want to hook a rock. Alright, you see all these leaves and weeds and crap? Let's get all this cleaned up. See it coming out? watch the sun, sorry. And this isn't a final cleanup. I'm just grinding down the weeds and chopping up the clippings, and look what's left. Nothing. See how it's out of the bed? That's directional weed eating. That's using your weed eater line to hook it and pull it out. No power. Now is the time you come and you spray all those weeds with your Roundup and your prosecutor and all the stuff you want to use as a non-selective herbicide. Now's the time you spray them. Don't grind them all the way gone. Leave a little bit of green. Spray that green. They'll be dead in 2 days. Let's edge this bed up, then we'll blow it out. I've been blowing off. I already did my yard, and I cleaned up her driveway. And so now we'll just get the rest of these clippings blown out, and they'll be ready for mowing. Chop them up. Going for spotless because we're still going to do a final blow when, you know, we're done mowing. But now's the time to get all the big clippings, so it's a lot less to clean up when you are done. And now everything's ready to be cut, bagged up, and made to look good. And that, my friends, is how you bang out some bushes, shape some shrubs, and hedge some hedges. Basic, inexpensive yard tool. You can make some decent money with this, and it'll be the final touch your customers will love when you can do that final little piece that they can't do. You can do it for them, and you do it like a pro. Follow my tips. Get a decent machine. Know your maintenance limits. Don't hurt your back. Let your arms do all the work. I just demoed that for you. I put it to use. You see, I'm not just talking to you guys, I show you as well. So I hope you get something out of it. I'm going to go take a shower. I'm good. Tomorrow after work, I'm going to go ahead and actually mow my yard and my neighbor's yard. So you just helped me get a little bit of a head start. Cool? Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you on the next one.